Welcome back to another video, my friend. I'm Blake and you're you, and this is Dimir Rogues in Explorer. This is almost the exact deck that was in Standard whenever Rogues were around, and it works quite well in Explorer. So let's start taking a look at this deck list so you can see what we're talking about. Soaring Thought-Thief, I would say, is the face card of the deck. It is a 1 black, 1 blue, so 2 mana, 1/3 human rogue with flash and flying. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0, and whenever 1 or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. So this is a mill deck. It's quite well. We have a suite of other rogues that also pair well with this. One is the Merfolk Windrobber, a 1/1, and whenever it deals combat damage, you get to mill a card. We also are running the 4 Thieves Guild Enforcers. This is a 1/1 with flash also, but when it or another rogue enters control, you also get to mill 2 cards. And as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, which is pretty easy to turn on with the deck, it becomes a 3/2 with Death Touch, which can cause some problems. Also, one of the all-stars of the deck is Ruin Crab, which has landfall. Each opponent mills 3 cards. So those are the creatures of the deck, obviously going for a mill strategy. And then we have a good bit of removal around it. We're running 2 Fatal Push to destroy those small things. We're running 2 Heartless Act to get just about anything, and then 1 copy of Eliminate, testing out based on a list I saw, so seeing how that feels. And then I'm running 2 Curious Obsessions for card draw. Similarly, with Cling to Dust, you do run into some decks like Mardu, Greasefang that really want to use their graveyard, and so Cling to Dust can both be used to stop those decks that were turboing, as well as can also be some card draw, and occasionally you just want to gain 3 life, and that can feel quite good as well. We are also running 4 Drown in the Loch, extremely good card in the deck. It can be used both as a pretty much counter anything spell or sometimes destroy a creature when need be. We are running 2 Agadeem's Awakening, really good in the deck considering every creature is a 1 or 2 drop, and this is return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different mana value, X or less. So you can cast this for 5 mana and bring back a Soaring Thought-Thief and any one of your 1-drops. So that's quite good. We're actually, these can be lands, but as we constructed the deck, I'm actually running these as spells. So these are not even included in our land count because we really want to be using these as spells. Running 4 copies of Into the Story, which is a 7 mana draw 4, but if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard, it becomes a 4 mana draw 4. Absolutely bonkers. I'm just running the lands I had available for the deck, so that comes to 9 islands, 9 swamps. I had an Otawara, I had a Takenuma, and then 1 Pathway, 2 Watery Graves, and I'm also just threw in a Sea Gate Restoration. So 24 lands total, and that's again not counting the Agadeem's Awakening as lands. So technically 26 lands if you're counting these, but the deck really, really goes well. Now let's jump into a couple games and see what we can do on the ladder in Explorer. Okay, so jumping into our first game here, the deck doesn't need a lot to keep an opening hand. Basically 2 lands and a couple playables and you're good to go. So we do have the Ruin Crab, which is just about the best first card to start with. And then after that, it's going to be a little bit awkward with the Drown in the Loch and a Heartless Act, but I'm pretty confident that we can at least keep them off of stuff with these 2 cards and then draw into something playable. So I'm going to go ahead and keep here just because Ruin Crab is quite a decent start, and I think even worst case scenario, we throw the Curious Obsession on there and it becomes a 1/4, and then we can maybe draw a card unless they draw something like a Pelt Collector. So Pelt Collector, not great to see. Luckily our 0/3 is going to be able to keep them off for a while, and it does look like they had to mulligan down pretty aggressively, so, or maybe they only mulligan to 6, but either way, we are ahead here on card advantage. Robber of the Rich, really good with the small hand, so that's going to be a little bit tough. This is going to put some pressure on us. Doesn't matter what we hit. Luckily, they hit an Into the Story, which is no problem for us. And now we've got some decisions to make. So we're going to mill them for 3. Our playables are, I'm pretty tempted here to hold up this. It's going to be pretty hard to turn this on just yet, but being able to flash it in unexpected feels pretty good. And I do think getting some card draw rolling and punishing them for swinging all out will be good. We are, of course, going to take that action. And we're just going to not let them know what we have and just hold on to this Thieves Guild Enforcer and see what can happen here. So we are under a lot of pressure here. So we do need to draw something helpful, but being able to remove 2 creatures is going to be pretty important for the matchup here. He is going all out. No favorable trades yet with just the 3 cards in his graveyard. Getting this turned on will be quite good. He does hit a Windrobber, which he cannot use yet. We're going to take 6. It's a little tough. This deck... Oh, and I already made a misplay. Definitely meant to flash that in. I don't think it's going to end up mattering. I think I'll get lucky. Well, it will matter because I could have also played the Windrobber. So that's unfortunate. We put him to 6. So this needs 8 to get turned on. So we can't really play that because I want to play this. I think the play will be Windrobber and then hold up Heartless Act, and we're going to destroy whatever the best option is before... We're going to destroy the best option before he goes to combat. Now, at this point, because we're a little low, I think I just hold the crab back as a good blocker, and then later... Oh, I forgot that gets sacrificed. I think that's okay. We got our 1 card out of it and cycled it effectively, but I think that's okay to hold up a 0/3 blocker to get a free block on one of these. I think that will make it worth it. Now, if we can find our Soaring Thought-Thief, it will make this a lot better. And then this is a good time to go ahead and Heartless Act. Oh no, that was... Okay, I thought that was going to be a misclick because I accidentally hit that. Destroy creature with no counters on it. We'll get a 2-for-1 here, so that's certainly the best option there. At this point, we're only taking 2, so it puts the pressure back on them. He will keep drawing cards, which is a little unfortunate. But luckily, our deck goes against itself fairly well, I think. We've got the mill strategy on. We should, yeah, we'll have the Thieves Guild turned on next turn, and I think we've stabilized into a pretty good position here, honestly. Now, at this point, we'll go ahead and get the Windrobber going. It's not going to deal any damage just yet, and we're going to get that 1 mill a turn. Should be quite good. They're playing some sort of Clothis deck. They've got Embercleave in there, so just a pretty, somewhat standard Gruul aggro card. We should be looking out for an Embercleave. Might be worth keeping this for. The Spellbreaker will have Hexproof, so I think it's worth countering this spell here. Because Hexproof will make it quite a problem. It also keeps the counter off of the Collector. And then before combat, to stop... Oops, I didn't quite mean for that to happen. I wanted to flash this in before combat, but I kind of missed my triggers there. Making lots of misplays. But I'll get it going once we get into the deck here. I do think we just hit the Windrobber here. This is the only thing providing advantage for them. And then we'll just chump like this. I think that's a pretty good trade for us. And now we've got these 2 flash cards. So we're in a really good spot. We'll get a mill. We're going to flash in both of these. If we draw a land, we're going to turn on Awakening in case it kills the Thought-Thief. So we're in a very decent spot here. Spellbreaker is pretty strong, but the Enforcer can trade with anything, so we're fine. That does make that a little more of a problem. So I think actually the play is to flash in the Enforcer. And then we'll go ahead and flash in this to hit the Enforcer mill again. And then Spellbreaker's not going to get any bigger. But Pelt Collector will. So I think that's the best play here. I've got into the story, not bad. I want to attack with 1 rogue. So I can get a couple mill triggers here. Pretty good chance we draw into something useful for next turn. So I think we do like this, and then I think we just pass. A neat thing about this deck is it really does put pressures on both front, both from damage and mill. So, ooh, that's going to be pretty nasty. Let's go ahead and draw now, see what we can find. Not going to be anything to do here. We're probably just going to have to take a bad trade. Both of these things have trample, so it doesn't really even matter what we throw in front. We're in a little bit of a tricky spot here. We'll take my turn. Okay, this is good. This is good. I think we're fine. because we have to kill this now while it's not his turn. Fatal Push next turn. Can hit something big if I sack the Windrobber. So I think for now, let's hit the Spellbreaker. And then we're going to swing with the Windrobber. We're in a pretty good spot. They're down to 24 cards. We'll let him go to combat, and then we'll Fatal Push. And we can Fatal Push because we can destroy a creature. That's not good at all. Let's go ahead and do this, just to see what we can find. Cling to Dust can gain us some life. Let's go ahead and Fatal Push now, while I think for a second here. And then we can flash this in, totally fine. Flash this in for the trade. And then next turn we can bring back a bunch of stuff. So we're in a pretty decent spot here still. 3 life, but I think that's okay. We've really stabilized quite well. 2 life, that's okay. No problem. Now we get to Awaken, and we just need X2. So certainly I want Soaring Thought-Thief. And then other choice, probably a Guild Enforcer is probably best. Let's auto-pay, we'll save black, and then I can hold up either a cantrip or, in this case, I might even gain life, just because we're so close. He shocks us and we gain life right there. We don't need to attack. And now we're in a power position here, I think. See what they can do. And there we go. We got it. So the deck, pretty resilient. That was game 1. See you in the next one. Okay, getting into another game. We've got both colors. We can go Windrobber into Thought-Thief. I'm thinking this looks quite good, and we're going to try out this hand and see what we can do. Lead off Watery Grave, Windrobber, go. See what we're up against. Oracle deck. Not familiar with this one. Not exactly sure what kind of shenanigans they're up to here. But if you're running Oracle, you're trying to run some kind of combo. This will be a little awkward if it is an Oracle combo deck. They'll probably be benefited by me milling them, but they also could have some self-mill, so this could get to be a very interesting game. I think what I'll want to do is hold back one Drown in the Loch basically until the end of the game, just in case they have Oracle. If I could hold on to both of them, that would be even better. Ooh, so it looks like some sort of basically Oracle Blink deck is the gist that I'm getting, so that's interesting. Certainly an interesting deck. Yeah, you can bounce my Windrobber. I don't think I care about that much. Go ahead. I really thought he would bounce his own Oracle, but I guess he's really worried about the Windrobber. Windrobber's super easy to play here. Hit him with Thief. Just puts him at 3, so we gotta wait a little bit to turn on our story. But getting there next turn would be great. I don't know if we can. So we'll see what happens. Definitely a blink deck. That feels a little too good. Oh, we don't have Counterspell on for that just yet. Shoot. Well, that's not great. I'll probably kill whatever. He's gonna try to blink this turn. So it just gets to blink one thing, I think. Exile up to 1 target creature. Yeah, so go ahead, do your damage. He'll blink what? Archmage. We'll just kill the Archmage. Seems like the way to go. Ruin Crab to turn on a little more Windfall. Not Windfall, a little more Mill. Attack with both of these. We do have another Drown in the Loch if we want to hit the Oracle coming in. So this is Mono Blue Devotion, if it had a name, I guess. This is going to draw in one card from the top 3 at the moment. Probably let that blink if he goes for it. Really feel like we want to hold on to this. That's going to draw him 2 cards. He tapped out for it. I'll be able to do story next turn. I think we counter this. Risky. Because Oracle's going to win him the game if I let it stay around too long. So that is pretty risky to do. Unfortunately, he does not attack into my Guild Boy. So that's a little sad. But I really love this card. I think it's super fun to build around. Love Acid Deep Dwelling. It's really, really, really cool card in my opinion. But we're going to put the pressure on, though. We've got a lot of damage coming in and a lot of mill coming in next turn. I have to find a way to kill this, though, because his library is going to be so small that it's going to get him the win. Way, way, way too soon. But we go ahead and start swinging in. Mill 3 total. If he trades here, that would be ideal. But we got a lot of damage coming in, so the pressure's on. Ball's in his court. Ball is in his court. We have at least the fake counterspell up. He's got to be worried about it at this point. I'm going to act like I'm thinking about it. Nyx Lotus. Add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion. And there we go. Got the deck. Beat Mono Blue Devotion. Worked real well. Let's see another one. Okay, jumping into another game here. Ruin Crab into Thought-Thief with some backup is pretty good, I think. So let's keep this and see what happens. Going against the one and only Marcus Aurelius. Do think the life gain deck is a pretty tough matchup, especially if they can get the Airy down. I think we hold up a Loch for anything that pumps out tokens. Whenever an angel enters, you gain 4. It's pretty bad. Whenever an angel you control dies, you get another spirit. That would get in the way of all of my flyboys. I think we let it chill for now. I changed my mind. I think I want to hit it now. I think is the way to go. Maybe should have got down Thought-Thief, but I'm not 100% sure what the right play is there. Getting to pump out a bunch of 1/1s when angels come in seems bad, but I also feel like I would need the mana to counter the angels. Okay, I'm feeling a lot better now that I have Double Drown. Double Drown just feels really good to have. It's going to buy us a lot of time here. We're going to get to mill a lot, especially with another land even to hit the Ruin Crab. That's going to feel really good. And just a short one there. So we're going to try to get one more match for you, but sometimes the deck just does good things. Okay, jumping into our last game here. Several lands. Windrobber into Thought-Thief is fine enough of a start. 2 Thought-Thieves can get pretty crazy if they don't have anything in the air to stop us. That turns into mill for a turn, and that's pretty good. Cat Oven combo, we should have a pretty good matchup, and I actually think we just go Ruin Crab first. That gets us more mill faster than the Windrobber. Our Cling to Dust is quite good against the Cat Oven combo, and they don't run too many flyers. It's probably Jund Sacrifice, but it also could be Rakdos. So we'll see what they're rocking here. Fabled Passage just adds 1 to the graveyard. Good for us. Should have a good matchup against this deck, I'm thinking. They do probably run 4 Fatal Push, which is, you know, good removal against us. And they have the combo assembled. Drawing that Cling to Dust would feel really good. We'll go black. We do fill up their graveyard, which is a little unfortunate. But sometimes you just hit good stuff like that. So we're pretty fine. It's fine. Do your little combo. It's fine, it's fine. Cling to Dust would be really, really good to draw. That is fine. Take your turn. This is where we find out, based on what we've seen, it's probably straight Rakdos. Probably not Jund. It's probably no green. So our flyers should have an open field, usually. I'm not thinking of any flyers they could have in the deck. Fatal Push, I would probably rather hit him... I would probably rather him hit the crab than the Thought-Thieves. I think these will do more work over time, especially if we can get 2 of them. But we'll see. He could also have... Strangle's probably the only thing he would likely have there. This will be a long game. We got to get through all of their triggers every turn. But that's okay. I don't mind. I think we're in a decent spot still. Especially if we can get these 2 to both stick around for a couple turns. Milling for a turn starts to get pretty nuts. I did mean to play my Windrobber there. Small misplay. So that's unfortunate. If I can draw a Cling to Dust too, he's just toast. Because right now, I think he just has the 1 cat. Now, we are likely to hit another cat, so it'll probably just get turned right back on. But that's okay. Just like always, we're not too worried about the life gain on his end. Field of Ruin does nothing to us. We run a lot of basics because we're on that budget. It's unfortunate. See 2 of his Fatal Push. Anvil also got the combo. He doesn't have any easy artifacts to sacrifice at the moment. So that at least is a win. Drawing 4 next turn is going to be pretty sweet. I think we're in a good spot here. The deck, my overall assessment of the deck is that it's close to being enough, but it just feels like you fight too hard in too many matchups to win. There's not a lot of decks that you get easy wins against. I think that's why the deck's not quite top tier right now. But it's still fun. And if you enjoy Mill, it's the best Mill deck, I think, in the format. But it feels like it's missing something. You know, maybe 1 good rogue away or something. I'm not exactly sure what it needs. But it feels like it's, you know, it's close. It's like a B tier deck, probably. Like, it can get some wins, but it's probably not going to get you to Mythic. There might be some adjustment of... It feels like the removal suite specifically struggles. Running into Goldspan Dragons, you just lose. So that could be adjusted, probably, I think. But the deck's cool. The deck's fun. Plays literally pretty much the exact same list that was ran in that meta once the Soaring Thought-Thief came out. I can't let him hit my story here, so I just have to cast it now and let him get too much information. But that's okay. Just about anything else should be fine for him to get. Yeah, any of that's fine. I hope he leaves the Curious Obsession. I'd love to start drawing some more cards every turn. He'll probably get rid of the Obsession, though. Could get rid of Enforcer. Windrobber's probably fine. I'm not sure what he's going to be afraid of here. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses. Restoration gets a lot better with this many cards in hand. He did hit the Enforcer, which I think is the best thing for me at this moment. Because this is going to start drawing us cards quite nicely. Awakening, it's good. I'm tempted, actually. I think we get more mill set up now if we Awakening, bring back a Thought-Thief and a Crab. I think that's the way to go. X2 Awakening. Give me the Thought-Thief and the Crab. I think that feels pretty good. Put a lot of pressure on right here. This will put a lot of pressure on. Let's see what he does. Another Devil in there. These being 3/3s is also going to put a lot of pressure on. He needs to draw something meaningful fast. Either an artifact to start getting his anvil loop going, or a Deadly Dispute would feel really good for him at the moment. But right now, just doing one of these a turn isn't really doing that much work for him. If we can keep these 3 cards out another turn, we're going to get a lot going on for us. We're actually also somewhat in Seagate Restoration range. This is a card that pretty much always gets played as a land because it's usually the last card in your hand, so it makes it a little bit of a really uncomfortable card to play. But this is a case where it could actually be playable. It should probably be an instant for as hard as it is to pull off, in my opinion. Now he's got his little anvil combo going, so that's going to start to put a lot of pressure on. He's going to be able to ping for 2 a turn. Let's start with Obsession on one of these. He looked like he was thinking about Field of Ruin, but that just gets even one less card in his deck, so it's fine with me. Every card counts. Sure. You go for it. You can have that. One less card in your deck. I've got plenty of basics and non-basics. I'll take another blue. Get my 3 blue, just in case we do Restoration. Maybe... I don't understand that play for him. Okay. Now, sorry if the audio is messing up for you guys. It's being a little wonky for me, but it could just be my earbuds. Okay, we do put another cat in there. It's fine. We should still have a decent clock, I think. He's at 28. We get to draw, so that's good. Fatal Push, not terrible. I don't think it helps us. It's pretty hard to find a spot. Just because he's got 2 cats, it gets pretty awkward. Go ahead and put down the Windrobber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll just throw down the swamp, or the island, just because it's known information. Might even do Takenuma this turn. But I'm also considering just holding on to it and Restoration. Restoration next turn, if we play it, will draw us 4 more cards. It's not terrible. I can't quite see a Fatal Push that would be meaningful at the moment. Just trying to work out how much damage he can do. So he can do both of these combos, which this is 1 damage. This basically brings us back for 2 damage. I think he's pretty much got 2 damage here. I think the correct play is to just take the 3 this turn for now. This could be good if he does end up getting a Mayhem Devil down. That's fine. Then he'll bring it back, but he doesn't have a second oven to get another food. We've got 10 damage coming at him next turn. Is there another? If there was another Thought-Thief, we would have had it made. Okay. And then he sacks one of these to that. Oh, he's already gotten 1 sack. However, he just did that. I wasn't... missed it. Is there anything worth bringing back with Takenuma? I could only bring back that. I don't have any legendaries. What does this do? If I could bring this back now, it'd be worth it. Oh, and he just concedes. I think we were going to get there. So that's how the deck goes. It's a pretty cool mill deck if you're into mill. Probably not top tier, but maybe you could find out how to make it there with a different suite of counter spells and destruction spells. But thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day, my friend. See you in the next one.